3 days before Hayden Panettiere's death, her former boyfriend Brian Hickerson suffered another legal setback involving the domestic abuse case that had followed their relationship for years. The timing is striking, but there's currently no verified evidence connecting his court battle to Hayden's death. What makes the situation so difficult to ignore is everything that had happened between them before those final days. On August 13th, a Los Angeles judge rejected Hickerson's request to reduce his felony convictions and have them dismissed from his record. According to reports, prosecutors opposed the request, and this wasn't even his first attempt. He had reportedly made a similar request in 2025, which was also denied. Hickerson had completed the conditions of his probation, but the court still declined to grant the relief he was seeking. The case dated back to 2019 and 2020, when Hickerson faced multiple charges connected to incidents involving Panettiere. In 2021, he pleaded no contest to 2 felony counts involving injury to a spouse or girlfriend. He was sentenced to 45 days in county jail for years of formal probation, domestic violence classes, and a 5-year restraining order. He ultimately served 33 days after receiving credit for time already spent in custody. But the legal record was only one part of a much more complicated story. Panettiere eventually opened up about the relationship herself. In her memoir, she described the abuse she experienced and the difficulty of completely breaking away from someone who had become deeply entangled in her life. She later explained that leaving an abusive relationship isn't always as simple as outsiders might imagine. Even when someone knows they need to leave, emotional ties can make the process incredibly difficult. And then came another unexpected development. In recent months, Hickerson himself reportedly discussed an incident that Panettiere had included in her memoir. He acknowledged that he had been drinking during the incident and described threatening to throw a phone at her. His comments added another layer to a relationship that had already been surrounded by years of controversy. There were also reports that Panettiere and Hickerson had remained in contact after their earlier separation, with some reports suggesting they may have become close again. Those reports should be treated cautiously, because they don't establish exactly what their relationship was like during her final days. Then on August 16th, the news changed everything. Panettiere was found unresponsive at a residence in South Carolina, and emergency responders were called. She was pronounced dead at the age of 36. Reports based on emergency dispatch information mentioned a possible overdose, and Narcan was reportedly found at the scene. But that does not mean an overdose has been officially confirmed as the cause of death. Authorities have reportedly found no preliminary signs of trauma or foul play, while the official investigation into the cause and manner of death continued. And that's what makes the timeline so unsettling. Just 3 days before Hayden's death, the court had once again rejected Hickerson's attempt to change the legal status of his convictions. Then Hayden was suddenly gone. But it's important not to turn an unsettling coincidence into an accusation. There is currently no verified evidence showing that Hickerson's court ruling had anything to do with Panettiere's death. What remains is a complicated story involving a troubled relationship, years of legal consequences, Hayden's own decision to speak about what she experienced, and a death whose official circumstances were still being investigated. For now, the biggest unanswered questions belong to the investigation, not speculation. And until authorities release a final determination, the circumstances surrounding Hayden Panettiere's final days remain an unfinished chapter in a story that had already been filled with painful twists.